All right, YouTube, welcome. Here we are today in Gary, Indiana at Mount Mercy Cemetery, and we're here to pay our respects and tell the story of a war hero. And there's many of them, but you know, some of these guys are just incredible things that they do. So we're going to tell you about this guy, show you his grave, pay our respects. Let's get to it.
John Otto Siegel, April 21, 1892, August 15, 1943, was a United States Navy boatswain's mate second class who earned the Medal of Honor for extraordinary heroism while serving on board of the USS Mowhawk, YT-17, during World War I. John Otto Siegel was the adopted son of Julius N. Siegel and Annie Vance, both of Germany. John was brought to the U.S. from Germany, arriving in New York via Canada in October 1899 with his mother and father. They lived for a short time in Winnipeg, Canada, where Julius, listed as a Roman Catholic, worked as an architect. By 1903, Julius Siegel was living in Milwaukee and still working as an architect. By 1905, John and his mother are also with Julius in Milwaukee. By 1910, Siegel has joined the Navy 3-4, and is listed as an ordinary seaman working on board the USS Virginia, BB-13, which was docked at Hampton Roads, Virginia in 1909 for modifications. He also shows up living at the same address as his father at 418 12th Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In 1911, Siegel is shown as an agent and still living with his father in Milwaukee. In 1912, Siegel now is a sailor at the same address. On September 22, 1912, John married his first wife Teresa Rose Nealis, aged 19 years. The marriage took place at St. James Catholic Church, Newark, Essex Company, New Jersey. The parents of John are listed as Julius Siegel and Anna Vance, and the parents of Teresa are listed as John Nealis and Margaret Buckley. By 1917, when Siegel fills out his draft card, he and Teresa have one child, Margaret Jean Virginia Siegel. His draft card also shows that he is a wagon driver teamster working for Wells Fargo Company Express. On November 1, 1918, Siegel is working as a boatswain's mate second class for the U.S. Navy on board the tugboat USS Mohawk, YT-17. Working in the Norfolk Naval Shipyard, the USS Mohawk rushes to give aid to a burning ship, the schooner Hjeltenaes, which was tied up along the Beltline Bridge. Siegel was able to rescue two men from the crew's quarters and was going back a third time when he was trapped by a burst steam pipe. Overcome by the smoke, Siegel collapsed and had to be rescued by his shipmates. Medical officers worked on him most of the night, fearing he would die. For his actions, Siegel was recommended and awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions, along with a $100 gratuity. Medal of Honor citation. Rank and organization: Boatswain's Mate Second Class, United States Navy. Citation: for extraordinary heroism while serving on board the Mohawk and performing a rescue mission aboard the schooner Hjeltenaes, which was in flames on November 1, 1918. Going aboard the blazing vessel, Siegel rescued two men from the crew's quarters and went back the third time. Immediately after he had entered the crew's quarters, a steam pipe over the door bursted, making it impossible for him to escape. Siegel was overcome with smoke and fell to the deck, being finally rescued by some of the crew of the Mohawk, who carried him out and rendered first aid. Medal inscription awarded to John Otto Siegel, Boatswain's Mate Second Class at Norfolk, Virginia, November 1, 1918. By 1920, Siegel receives a less than honorable discharge from the Navy and continues to work as a driver. Later, it is believed Siegel works as an ironworker on the Brooklyn Bridge, or simply a bridge in Brooklyn. Citation needed: around 1930, Siegel abandons his wife and daughter and heads to Oklahoma to work in the oil fields. They never divorced and he starts a new life, never having any contact with them again. In 1935, Siegel shows up in La Vegas, believed it to be Las Vegas, per the 1940 census records. And in 1940, Siegel is found in Baltimore, Maryland 12, as a lineman in a shipyard living with his second wife, 20 years his younger, Mary Lou Siegel from Oklahoma. 1935 The New York chapter of the Red Cross writes a letter on behalf of John Otto Siegel to the Bureau of Navigation, Navy Department, Washington, D.C. requesting a duplicate Medal of Honor be issued. The letter states that in November 1934 John was employed as an iron worker on the Boulder Dam project, in the Death Valley Junction of Nevada. And during this time a fire swept through the camp, believed to be Williamsville, known to its inhabitants as Ragtown, destroying all his belongings including his medal and service documents. On June 17, 1935 the Bureau replies with instruction on how to apply for a replacement medal. In 1943, at the age of 51, Siegel dies of lung cancer, most likely from the injuries he sustained that fateful day in November 1918.